Imagine a tranquil night in a small Alabama town, where the usual serenity is shattered by an unspeakable horror, and what can only be described as a nightmare come to life. Brandon Allen Kendrick II, a seemingly ordinary 32-year-old, stands accused of a crime so horrific it has left an entire community grappling for answers. On that fateful Thursday night, a rural household in Bibb County became the backdrop for a chilling tragedy that defies comprehension. Kendrick, who was supposed to be a protector, is now at the center of a case that has stunned even the most seasoned law enforcement officials. 5 lives, including his wife Kelsey Kendrick and 4 young children, were brutally cut short in a shocking act of violence. As we dive into the heart of this disturbing story, we'll unravel the grim details of the crime, explore the profound impact on the tight-knit community, and attempt to understand the motivations behind such an incomprehensible act. Stay with us as we piece together the haunting narrative of one of the most tragic nights in recent memory. A shocking tragedy. In the tranquil rural community of West Blockton, Alabama, a night of horror has left a family devastated and a town in mourning. On a seemingly ordinary Thursday evening, Brandon Allen Kendrick II, a 32-year-old resident, allegedly committed an unthinkable act of violence. His wife, Kelsey Kendrick, and 4 young children ranging in age from 2 to 9 were found brutally murdered in their home. According to court records, all victims were shot in the head with a handgun, a detail that underscores the sheer brutality of the crime. Sheriff Jody Wade, visibly shaken by the scene, described it as the worst he had ever encountered in his career. "It's absolutely horrible. It's unimaginable what the family is going through, what the friends of the family are experiencing, what the community is feeling right now." Wade said the victims included Kendrick's 2 children and 2 other young relatives, their lives tragically cut short. The first alert came when someone from the home called emergency services, reporting that a child had been shot. As officers rushed to the scene, they were confronted with an escalating horror. More children had been shot. The grim reality of the situation unfolded rapidly, leaving seasoned officers deeply affected. Kendrick was apprehended at the scene without a struggle, offering no explanation for his actions. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's State Bureau of Investigation has taken over the case, striving to piece together the motive behind this senseless act. Meanwhile, the close-knit community of West Blockton grapples with the aftermath of this horrific tragedy, struggling to comprehend how such an event could unfold in their peaceful town. Details of the arrest. Brandon Allen Kendrick IA, age 32, was apprehended by law enforcement at the scene of the crime in Bibb County, Alabama. Kendrick faces 5 counts of capital murder for the tragic deaths of his wife, Kelsey Kendrick, and 4 children, aged between 2 and 9. Court records reveal the horrific details. All victims were shot in the head with a handgun. Among the children, 2 were his own, and the other 2 were relatives, making the crime even more unfathomable. The arrest followed a chilling emergency call from someone inside the home, reporting that a child had been shot. As officers rushed to the scene, the horrifying reality unfolded with the discovery of multiple victims. Bibb County Sheriff Jody Wade described the scene as absolutely horrible and the worst thing even seasoned officers have ever seen. Brandon Kendrick was taken into custody at the family home without a struggle. Notably, he did not offer any information about a possible motive during his arrest. This has left investigators and the community searching for answers. Currently, court records do not indicate whether Kendrick has legal representation to speak on his behalf. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's State Bureau of Investigation is leading the inquiry into this heartbreaking case. As the investigation progresses, the rural community near West Blockton, located about 40 miles southwest of Birmingham, remains in a state of shock and mourning, grappling with the loss of 5 innocent lives. Community's reaction. The serene community of Bibb County, Alabama, has been rocked to its core by the recent tragedy. Sheriff Jody Wade, visibly shaken, described the scene as the worst he and his officers have ever encountered. His words echo the sentiments of a community struggling to comprehend the magnitude of this atrocity. "It's absolutely horrible. It's unimaginable what the family is going through, what the friends of the family are experiencing, what the community is feeling right now. It was just a horrific scene that even seasoned officers told me it is the worst thing they've ever seen." In the aftermath of the tragedy, residents of West Blockton, a tight-knit community approximately 40 miles southwest of Birmingham, have come together to support one another. Candlelight vigils and memorials have sprung up as neighbors struggle to cope with the devastating loss. It's heartbreaking all the way around. My prayers are with the families. You just never think something like this could happen here in our quiet town. It's surreal and incredibly tragic. Many in the community are grappling with a mix of shock, grief, and a desperate need for answers. Counseling services have been made available, and community leaders are urging residents to lean on one another during this difficult time. The local church has opened its doors for those seeking solace and a place to mourn collectively. At the local school, grief counselors are on hand to support students and staff. The impact of this tragedy is profound, with many struggling to understand how such a horrific event could unfold in their own backyard. The entire community is enveloped in a sense of mourning as they try to navigate the emotional aftermath of this unimaginable crime. The incident. On a seemingly ordinary Thursday night, the tranquil community of West Blockton, Alabama, was plunged into chaos and heartbreak. At approximately 10 p.m., a chilling emergency call shattered the silence. A terrified voice on the line reported that a child had been shot, sending law enforcement officers racing to the scene. As they approached the modest home on Green Tree Drive, nothing could have prepared them for the grim discovery that awaited inside. Upon arrival, the officers were met with a scene of unimaginable horror. 5 lifeless bodies, including 4 children aged 2, 6, 6, and 9, lay scattered throughout the home, each bearing a fatal gunshot wound to the head. Among the victims was Kelsey Kendrick, the 33-year-old wife of the alleged perpetrator, Brandon Allen Kendrick II. The brutality of the crime left even the most seasoned officers at a loss for words. Sheriff Jody Wade, visibly shaken, recounted the night's events. As officers were entering the home, they discovered more and more victims. It's absolutely horrible. It's unimaginable what the family is going through, what the friends of the family are experiencing, what the community is feeling right now. It was just a horrific scene that even seasoned officers told me is the worst thing they've ever seen. In a matter of moments, the peaceful night had been transformed into a nightmare. Brandon Kendrick T., the man accused of committing these heinous acts, was found at the scene and arrested without resistance. He offered no explanation for his actions, leaving a grieving community desperate for answers. As the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's State Bureau of Investigation took over the case, the question on everyone's mind remained: what could have driven a man to such unfathomable violence? The investigation. The investigation into the tragic shooting in Bibb County has quickly become one of the most harrowing and complex cases in recent memory. As the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's State Bureau of Investigation takes charge, the community, law enforcement, and even seasoned investigators are left grappling with the enormity of the situation. The task at hand is not just to uncover the sequence of events, but to comprehend the unimaginable. A man accused of murdering his wife and 4 young children in cold blood. The events unfolded late on a Thursday night, with law enforcement officers receiving a harrowing emergency call from within the home. The initial report was about a single child being shot, but as officers raced to the scene, the horror revealed itself to be far worse. Upon arrival, they were met with a scene that defies easy description. 5 victims, all of whom had been shot in the head. The victims included Kendrick's wife, Kelsey, and 4 children, 2 of whom were his biological children and the others relatives. The ages of the children ranged from 2 to 9, each life tragically extinguished in a matter of moments. Sheriff Jody Wade, who has been at the forefront of the investigation, described the scene as absolutely horrible and remarked that even the most experienced officers on the force were shaken to their core. The brutality of the crime has left an indelible mark on the community and the investigators themselves. It was just a horrific scene that even seasoned officers told me is the worst thing they've ever seen. Sheriff Wade stated, capturing the gravity of the situation. In the immediate aftermath of the crime, Kendrick was taken into custody at the scene without incident. Despite the severity of the accusations, he did not resist arrest. However, Kendrick has remained silent about any potential motive for the murders. This silence adds an extra layer of complexity to the investigation, as authorities are left to piece together the puzzle without a clear understanding of what drove Kendrick to commit such a heinous act. As investigators work to uncover the motive, they are delving into Kendrick's background, relationships, and any possible signs of mental illness or distress. The lack of a clear motive has led to a thorough examination of his personal life and interactions with the victims. Was there a history of domestic violence or any recent upheavals that might have triggered this atrocity? The answers to these questions remain elusive as the investigation continues. The investigation is also exploring the broader context of the crime. Bibb County is a rural area, and the tight-knit nature of the community means that the impact of this tragedy is deeply felt by all its residents. The local authorities are working in tandem with state and federal agencies to ensure that all aspects of the case are thoroughly examined. This includes forensic analysis of the crime scene, interviews with potential witnesses, and a detailed review of Kendrick's personal and financial records. In addition to the immediate investigative efforts, there is a significant focus on providing support to the community and the families affected by this tragedy. Mental health professionals and counselors are being made available to help residents cope with the trauma and grief caused by this shocking event. As the investigation unfolds, the search for answers continues. The community remains in mourning, and the quest for justice for Kelsey Kendrick and the 4 innocent children is at the forefront of everyone's minds. The coming weeks and months will be crucial in unraveling the details of this devastating case, as the authorities strive to bring clarity and, ultimately, closure to a grieving community. The community in mourning. As the sun rises over the quiet town of West Blockton, Alabama, the community is enveloped in a profound sense of grief and disbelief. This close-knit town, known for its friendly neighbors and serene surroundings, is now the epicenter of an unspeakable tragedy. Residents are grappling with the horrifying news that one of their own, Brandon Allen Kendrick IE, allegedly committed a brutal act of violence that claimed the lives of his wife and 4 young children. The loss is not just felt by the family, but by every member of this tight community. Vigils and memorials have sprung up around the town, with people leaving flowers, candles, and heartfelt messages. The collective sorrow is palpable, with many residents struggling to comprehend how such a tragedy could occur in their peaceful town. The shockwaves from this incident have reached every corner of the community. Schools have provided counselors to help children process the loss of their classmates and friends. Local churches have opened their doors for prayer and support, offering solace to those in need. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's State Bureau of Investigation continues to work tirelessly to uncover the motives behind this senseless act. Meanwhile, the town of West Blockton stands united in their grief, offering support and comfort to one another during this incredibly difficult time, as they mourn the loss of 5 precious lives. The community's strength and resilience shine through, even in the darkest of times. The community's response is a testament to their unity and compassion, showing that even in the face of unimaginable horror, the spirit of West Blockton remains unbroken. As we reach the end of this harrowing story, we're left with an unsettling silence that echoes far beyond the confines of Bibb County. The arrest of Brandon Allen Kendrick, EE on 5 counts of capital murder, has sent shockwaves through a community that now struggles to come to terms with the magnitude of this tragedy. The lives of Kelsey Kendrick and her 4 young children were abruptly and violently taken, leaving an indelible mark on those who knew them and those who have learned of their story. The brutal nature of this crime, with its chilling details of execution-style shootings, has not only horrified local residents but has also drawn widespread attention and sympathy from across the nation. In the aftermath of this unimaginable event, the focus now shifts to the ongoing investigation led by the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's State Bureau of Investigation. As authorities piece together the fragments of that fateful night, the community remains in mourning, grappling with their profound loss and the questions that remain unanswered. It's the heartache experienced by the families and friends of the victims, and the anguish of a community in shock underscores the need for support and understanding in these dark times. We hope that, in the wake of such devastating loss, healing and justice will prevail. As we close this chapter, we remember the lives lost and extend our deepest sympathies to those affected. As the sun set on this seemingly ordinary evening, the tranquility of a rural neighborhood was violently disrupted. Inside a modest home on Green Tree Drive, a nightmare unfolded that would shock even the most seasoned of law enforcement officers. Brandon Allen Kendrick IE, a 32-year-old man, now stands accused of one of the most horrific crimes imaginable. the execution-style killing of his wife, Kelsey Kendrick, and 4 young children, ages 2, 6, and 9. The brutality of the scene left first responders grappling with the sheer horror of what they encountered. Each victim was shot in the head, a stark reminder of the violence that unfolded behind closed doors. The community, known for its close bonds and peaceful way of life, is now grappling with the incomprehensible. What could drive someone to such an extreme act? And how will this tragedy reshape the lives of those left behind? As investigators work tirelessly to piece together the motive and circumstances, the impact of this atrocity ripples through the hearts of many. Join us as we continue to follow this developing story and uncover the truth behind this heartbreaking case. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling and want to stay informed on further developments, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll continue to seek answers and support those affected by tragedies like this. Until next time, stay safe and cherish every moment with your loved ones.